I've just been promoted to level gold 4. This isn't gonna do. Watch me quest for platinum. This is Legendary Tactics, your gaming masterclass. So I'm level gold 4, and I've been looking at some tips from my good buddy Flash Thompson, and I am trying to overcome a pretty dark hole that I'm in here, and I'm looking to follow some of the advice he's given and see what I can come up with. So one of the builds I really like to do is the Chrono buff. Chrono and Cybernetic in my back pocket if I can. This is TFT set 3, just in case you're wondering. And right away you can see I got a pretty good Chrono buff going on here. I got the Caitlyn, the Shen, and I got my dual Cybernetic out there, Fiora and Leona. We'll see what can happen here. Taking me kind of handily here, but maybe no, just lost there in the last shot. That kind of stinks, but that's okay. We're very early in this little round. Nice thing about Caitlyn there is she can throw on the sniper buff, and so a little Celestial out there too never hurts anyone. Ashe is a pretty awesome early game character. You can see damage she's kind of doing there to knock down the opponent. That's good. So one of the tips Flash gave was that you want to make sure you have econ. Unfortunately, me at $4 is not a very high econ level, but hopefully I can turn that tide around a little this game. We'll see what happens. A little bit of a crush there. That's good. So we're at the turntable. First turntable. Look in here. I'm a little bit higher in the pack. And hard to tell who I grabbed there. Looks like I grabbed a nanny there just for the money. Didn't really help any of my builds. The characters out there, so that's fine. And now I have the cyber buff with the sniper. And I've got Chrono in my back pocket, which is good too. Shen's a pretty decent. I really like Shen, to be honest. He's a great frontline tank, especially if you can level him up a little bit. He can become quite powerful, so that'll be good. So as I said at the beginning there, at the onset, I'm currently gold 4, but I am looking. If with a win here, this would bump me up to my gold 3 status. So I've been slowly utilizing Flash's tactics, and another bad loss there, and seeing if I can't implement a few of those ideas into the game. We'll see what happens. The rocks are always a pretty easy go. Every once in a while I have a bad little hiccup with the rocks there, and it's unfortunate, but it's usually just really bad happenstance or get the wrong characters out level 1s, whatever. It does happen, but very, very infrequently. Taking some beats again there, but it's still 85. Middling in the pack, upper third, it's okay. Oh, Ezreal, she's a nice addition there. So now Chrono Blaster and the Sniper and Cybernetic buff out there. So the one snag with Cybernetic, of course, is that every character needs a weapon. So early game, you got to disperse your weapons. You can't actually stack them in any meaningful way and get them going onto a stronger build. Oh, level 2 Ezreal. Okay, so that could be a little powerful early game. Of course, late game, she's going to be more or less insignificant, but early game, yeah. One strategy I always like to try and do is get as many purples and, of course, golds on the board as you can. But purples are kind of your marquee characters there. There goes the Jhin, speaking of purples. And seeing if you can't dominate with those guys. I do try personally to stay away from the level 1 characters end game, but sometimes, to complete the build, especially if you're going cybernetic, you absolutely have to have all 6 in, and You're going to, of course, then get stuck with a Leona and a Fiora, but that's okay. In this recent incarnation of the game, too, they've actually nerfed a little bit. Oh, Lucian level 2, that's great, too, there. That's solid. They've actually nerfed a little bit the potency of Cybernetic, which I guess they felt was a little over amplified early games with the latest. I'm talking about the latest upgrades to the game there, latest updates. So I pulled a Cho'Gath. That would give me the Brawler option. That's not a bad back pocket idea. Along with Vi there, it gives me the option of flexing to a 4-build Brawler if needs be. I like that. That Cho'Gath is pretty cantankerous at times. He can really, if he could get his super off. The problem with him, though, I find, it's chronic though, is he a bit lumbering. So if he doesn't, he can often get killed before the super goes off. Oh, that was a bad beat. So yeah, you have to be mindful of the fact that you're not always going to be able to pull the Cho'Gath out. So there's the Cho out there actually. Cho Vi gives me my Brawler buff. I mean, Cho'Gath versus the other Brawlers, the options there, you've got Blitz, and of course you've got the Malphite, who's pretty weak. So I try to stay away from him, of course, following my level 1 rule, as you know. Another Ezreal on the board. I'm going to be waiting just to get my $51 and... Looks like I missed Ezreal. Oh, but there's a Cho'Gath if I can draw, but I'm actually leading the pack currently, so that isn't going to... Yep, there he goes. Long gone. Strangely enough, though, I got a Vel'Koz. That's not a bad... I've been starting to pivot, actually, from the idea of getting money on the draw versus getting the weapon. And, oh, another Cho'Gath. Excellent. So that's helping me towards my Cho build for level 2. Not a bad idea, of course. And another win there. So this is lining up pretty solidly. Oh, Lucian level 2. One more Lucian. I had been getting lately a ton of Lucian 3s, which is great. You put some speed on him. I know he's only a $2 guy, but I just love how he dances. He just dances, and he just sort of around the periphery, as you can see him there, just piffering and pegging away, and oh, just took me out. All right, that's fine. Oh, and level 2 Cho. All right, so now we're cooking. We got our $50. There's the gold up to full buff, so that's excellent. And just working through these guys shouldn't be much of a problem. There we go. Ton of weapons there to play with. I am a huge fan of the Zephyr. Throw Warmogs on Cho there. Give him some good regen. That Jeweled Gauntlet going on Vi there, when she does her little crit strike there, she can really smash it up, and that right there really paid dividends. Took that guy right down. Chinatown. It's good. So we're at Chrono 2, Cyber 3, Sniper, Brawler 2, Blaster 2. So yeah, we're in good steads here. I do actually even have a Gangplank on the bench sitting there waiting to make an entry. We'll see if we can't utilize his abilities. Okay, leveled up, and there he goes right in. Speaking of which, there we go. There we go. Gives us the Mercenary buff as well. That's nice. And another Gangplank. Oh boy, and a Misfortune too. Okay, so now we're really cooking. Got the Blaster 3 out there. Just got to start getting some levels to these guys. Getting weapons are going to be a bit of a trick right now because I am rather thin on the weapon front. So we'll see if we can't score some weapons there. And oh, there's another Thresh. Oh boy. So sitting third. Okay, not bad. We already got a guy out, and two guys pretty much knocking on heaven's door there. Bumping up a little more, and 20s, and then me in the 40s, 50s, 60s. So it's pretty even split so far here. Look at all these golds coming by there. Jeez. Echo. Man. Man, that echo ability is just so great, eh? The stun and blast everybody. Oh, so good. Just take a little nip off all the characters remaining, especially if you're low, if you're down and everyone's just kind of hanging on. That echo blow send off can really take them. I really do have a little bit of a love affair with the Zephyr. Fortunately, it doesn't do a lot of buff for the Misfortune blasting off. That's perfect. Oh boy, wow, that is serious. Level 3 there. Double static shiv. That is pretty powerful. Wow. Okay, free Blade Master coming up here with the bot. And more level 3s. Thresh, Aurelian Soul. Jeez. That is just unbelievable. Will this guy down, get some gold, more gold, and take the Blade Master. Doesn't unfortunately help me in the slightest, but that's, oh boy. Okay. Level 2 miss. That'll be helpful. Fortunately, I can't buy her larger cone, but I can throw the Blade Master on her to very little effect, unfortunately. But that's okay. Some weapons better than no weapon, I suppose. And there we go. There was a great example of the Cho'Gath bump up, and then, of course, Misfortune coming in right in behind and just sealing the deal. So she's clearly my carry. I actually still have two Gangplanks on the bench there waiting to come in. If they could make an appearance. One away from the Blaster 3. Don't see any real current person on my... Jinx would be great to get in, but we're going to see what happens there if the tableau is kind. We're whittling down pretty nice now. 3 out. Oh, Misfortune. Just icing. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, so this is where I was talking about. Echo's low and taking me out. Oh, Dire Straight. Well played. Oh, Gangplank 2. Okay, well now he's got to come out. There's not much choice for it, so we're going to take out that Ash, put in Gangplank. So it does whittle down my buffs, but it's pretty hard to argue with 2 level 2s when they're in the 5-banger position, so okay. So I was just looking to see if I could snag me another blaster. Didn't happen. Threw a Cho'Gath out there just to see if I can get an extra bump up. Get the Zephyr going. Zephyr'd him just in time. That was a close shave. Leaving that down to brass tacks, but it worked out a-okay. Get the double buff up for Misfortune, right? So she can just pummelate as... and another buff up, and come on. Oh, all right. She didn't need to go off on him. We had him pretty well dead to rights. Another Blade Master out there. Look at that on the graves. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Wukongs this game. There's another Echo. Okay. So then there were 3 of us down to $2. This is going to be rather snug to get this game under my belt, but we'll see what happens. I'm pretty close to level gold 3, so this might even be enough. We'll have to see what happens with there's the Blaster 4. Okay, so that was the Jinx I was really looking for. Now, don't really want to have to sell my Cho, working towards that, but, well, money's low, and there, I'm going to sell just so I can get that, and... might be worthwhile to get the second Jinx, as I was just thinking. Oh my gosh, of course. 2 Chos on the board. Trying to level up that Jinx was my goal there, but did not obviously come to fruition. But is it going to be enough? Is it going to be enough? Oh boy. Just enough. Oh, and Misfortune knocks another one out. Okay. So then there were 2. So, folks, here's a classic example of you may be down, but you're never out. Okay, down to 2 health. A lot of guys above me there with way better health, and the Misfortune Gangplank end to end is a real bonus. Plus the blaster. I've got a pretty decent back row. It's going to be hard for him to chisel through both sides, both points, even if he has Infiltrator, which I haven't looked to see. Which, by the way, is another point that Flash does bring up. Always great to scout your opponents. One skill that I am still quite depthly working at. Oh, and there's the music. I'm afraid that can only mean one thing. I believe that Misfortune will help end this losing drought, and goodbye to Gold 4. Hello, Gold 3, and thank you, Flash Thompson. Like, subscribe, stay tuned for the Gold 3 episode, hopefully coming soon.